Recording. Okay, so hi and welcome to the Make Yourself Epic podcast. I am your host, Lee Campbell, and I'm so glad that you're all here today. So this show exists because transformation definitely happens in the little conversations. It's the moments where someone just says the right thing to you at the right time, and it creates the 2mm shifts. So today's guest, Mike, is one of those people for me. So I met Mike at Date with Destiny. It was in 2018, and we were both crewing. And I had no idea when I saw this massive tall guy high-fiving everybody in the hallways and at the doors, just how much of a difference and a massive impact that he has made in my life. I worked with you were my finance coach it was a whole year. And, some of those conversations that we had completely changed the whole direction of the way that I think about things, and just changes life in general, right? So Mike is a money coach. He is the founder of Money Like Mike, and he'll tell you about some of his other adventures. And he's someone who gets it from the inside out because he has lived everything. He started his adult life negative 100,000. Is that right,
That's
Mike?
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So actually in the negative, and through years of learning, applying himself and building a life, him and his wife, Elle, are now living what they call their ideal life. So today I wanted to get Mike on, and we're going to talk about finance and identity, legacy buckets, and also just the 2mm shifts that definitely compound. And, you can create a totally different life for yourself when you have these little conversations. So, Mike, welcome. I am so glad you're here. Would you love to share a little bit more about you before we get started on some questions?
Yes, thank you. You're right. That negative $100,000 marker, that is the first time I ever calculated my net worth negative $100,000 at 22 years old. I would have been better off starting at zero, but I had a six-figure hole to crawl out of before I could actually make an impact. And you're right. The compounding effect is awesome, and it just takes time. I just turned 40 years old, and Elle and I have reached the millionaire mark. Our net worth is over seven figures now for the last few years. So I was able to hit millionaire status within 15 years while starting at negative $100,000, all while never making $100,000. I've never paid taxes on $100,000 in 1 year.
That is amazing. And I'm just so inspired by your journey and watching all of your travels. And, everybody has their own version of what their ideal life will look like, right? Correct. And so, take me back to when we first met at Date with Destiny. What were you doing back then? Because that was 2018. Where were you at that point in life compared to even now?
Sure. So 2018 was the first time that I crewed a Tony event. So Tony Robbins, my first event that I attended was in 2015. And those 3 years from 2015 to 2018 were a huge growth period. And in 2018 as crew, you grow even more and in a different way. And if I want to compare myself in these last 8 years or 8 to 10 years, man, I can't even remember that guy, right? So many things have happened. Elle and I, we've been traveling for 9 years. Our ideal life continues to shift, but not much, right? Meaning we still travel, but we go and we do it even slower. And we just got back from Japan. We just spent 5 months in Japan and fully immersed in the winter.
You there 5 months?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And we're back in the U.S. with a stopover at our friend's house in Vegas. We love hanging out and spending time with them. We were there for 4 weeks, which goes very quickly. And then now I'm sitting in our RV on the east coast of the U.S., and we plan for the summer to explore the Northeast and maybe even get into Canada as well. So we'll probably be in this for 3 or 4 months before we go back to Japan. We enjoyed Japan so much, we're going to go back.
It is the most beautiful country. I love it so much. So tell me back when you started your adult life with, this whole $100,000 of in the negative. What was that moment of realization for you that, was that pivot point?
Yes. I like to call that I've had it moment.
Oh, I love it.
I've had it, and I'm very grateful. I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing, what I was driving. So I was driving around a brand new truck that I had a payment on, and it left me broken down on the side of the road. And I was really confused because I didn't know exactly what was going on with the truck, but I just couldn't drive it, which was pretty frustrating. And in that moment, like I mentioned, I was by myself. And I was done because my first car that I still had, I paid $500 at the time. I paid $500 for that, and it never left me broken down. Yet my truck that I make payments on every month left me on the side of the road. And I
Crazy.
said, I'm done. I'm not living like this anymore. And my decision, my 2 millimeter shift, my one decision, I simply said that I'm not living like this anymore, and I'm not going into debt for anything ever again. Just making that one decision changed everything.
And, like when I share, like for all of my other followers, it's the decision that's that first pivot moment. You have to get to that point where you decide, then believe it, that you can actually do it, and then make the shift.
Correct.
Like, and I love everything that you taught me because it was so systematized. There's a system and a process for everything that we do to get to that next level. Can you talk me through a little bit about, we talked back then about legacy buckets.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, like, describe the legacy buckets? Because it made an impact for me working through the steps that you were teaching. Why does it work, and what is it?
All right. So we teach, me and another coach now, we've got ILMA is Ideal Life and Money Academy. Because like Lee said, everyone's ideal life is going to look different. For mine and Elle's, it's all about traveling. It's about experiencing what we can while we're here. Maybe yours is a house with 2.5 bathrooms and a white picket fence, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with anyone's definition. It's your definition.
Mm-hmm.
So in Ideal Life and Money Academy, we teach 5 steps of financial freedom. Number 1 is having a starter emergency fund, and that's of $1,000. Just having $1,000 there saved. Number
that was
2,
where I was at when we
yes.
first met. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And number 2 is to get out of debt. So everything but your house. Then number 3 is once you're debt free, then you go back to that starter emergency fund of $1,000, and you will beef that up into 3 to 6 months of expenses. Now, everyone's different. Maybe I remember when I first got started, mine was like, I was good. I was single in my 20s. I was like, yeah, $3,000 is enough. Well, it's not, right?
Yeah.
You need 5, and then it got to 10, and it slowly got to 20. So over time, it will change depending on your expenses. It's 3 to 6 months of your household expenses.
Yeah.
Now, 1, 2, and 3 are all done in order. They're all done in order, but 1, 2, and 3 are done individually in order. And then once you get to number 4 and 5, they're done together. Number 4 is where you're going to start investing for your future self. And our recommendation is a minimum of 10% of your income, no more than 20% going into your future self, such as retirement accounts. So in Australia, that's superannuation, and in the US, it's a 401k or an IRA. And we cap it at 20% because we want you to get to step 5, and that's to pay off your house early. And if you don't have one, like I don't have one, Elle and I, we've been in real estate and we're no longer there, but we are saving in addition to that for when that time comes, then we can pay for that next house in cash.
In cash.
Yes. And so that's the 5 steps of financial freedom. Once you do that, man, you get to celebrate being financially free, because when you don't have payments, first, when you don't have debt, it changes. Then when you have $20,000 in an emergency fund, it just, it's a different thing that most people haven't experienced before. And then once you don't have a mortgage payment, man, life is fun.
Yeah, because like just a little side note on that, there's so many people that say it's so great to own a house. Until you actually have paid it off completely, it's still a liability, right? It's not an asset.
Yes, that's right. So quickly on that, I like to think, let's say debt, rent. So rent, think of rent like right here. You just have rent is the maximum you're going to pay. If something goes wrong, you call the landlord. If property taxes go up, the landlord pays it. Now, I understand rent may increase on an annual basis, but rent is the maximum you're going to pay. When you have a mortgage, that's the minimum you're going to pay.
Yeah,
Something
true.
goes wrong, you got to fix it. You got taxes. You want to make improvements. You want to take a wall out and do a renovation. There's all these things because it's yours, right? So if you're considering renting versus buying, keep that in mind, that rent is the maximum and a mortgage is the minimum.
I like that you explain it like that. I read somewhere probably about 2 months ago that said Switzerland has got the highest amount of millionaires in the world, and none of them own houses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll have to go and find the actual, the post where I saw that. But because a lot of them just spend their money on investing instead of actually buying the house, they're investing in other things, compounding, doing stock market, I don't know, whatever they're actually doing, right?
Sure.
But yes, they don't own their own houses.
Wow, that's cool.
That's interesting stat.
Yeah.
So when you think about money and when you talk about money, most people overcomplicate money, right? So what's the very first thing that you strip everything back to when someone comes to you?
Well, it depends on what they're talking about, right? So if we're someone in my situation when I got started of out of control in a pile of debt, then that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on your income and we're going to focus on your expenses in order for you to become debt free. So that's what we do. If I have a client that's pretty organized, they feel confident, they can become debt free very quickly within a few months, then investing is probably the focus. And when I teach about investing is never invest in something you do not understand. That's my biggest words of wisdom. Do not invest in something you do not understand. If you can't explain it to your teenager, don't do it. Don't put money into it.
Yeah, I remember that exactly. There were so many little nuggets of wisdom that you've said that have stuck with me. One of them definitely is don't buy anything unless you can pay for it in cash. And I have literally followed that rule, however long ago it was that we were doing stuff together. I have done that ever since. So thank you for that. I bought my new phone all with cash.
Beautiful. And that's right. Like, don't go finance it through the phone company. Don't if you can't get a computer, and even a car. Like, a car can be a large purchase, but you spend differently. You negotiate differently when you pay, when you have the cash to pay for it.
And the other great thing that has been a really big tip for me, which I continue to do, and I've literally just done it a month ago, is to go back over all of my expenses and go back to the place and get a better deal.
Correct.
I've done that so many times.
I just did that for my mom yesterday. I was on the phone for her internet for an hour yesterday, but I saved them $50 a month, or I think actually $60 a month for the next 3 years.
Wow, that is so cool.
Well worth an hour phone call.
Well, one thing for me is that I don't ever want to get into a position again, which I was in, quite a while ago now, where I'm giving up on the lifestyle things that I love. And Netflix is one of those. I love Netflix because, I watch it all the time. It's my little timeout at nighttime, 10:30. I'm going to put Netflix on and watch Love Island for half an hour. That's my go-to. So I went back to my, it was the kids' mobile phone plans, actually. I went back to them and had a look at their plan. I got a plan for Logan for $5 a month cheaper with Netflix included. And I'm like, this is great. So I've literally got a free Netflix plan now. So it's definitely worth going back and reviewing all of those. So what is the shift, the 2 millimeter shift, the little tiny shift that changes everything when you think about getting your finances in order?
Well, very basic. Like when I just said that I've had a moment of deciding never to go back into debt, huge win. If you're already there, congratulations.
Yeah.
I want you to then take it to the wealth side of things, right? When it comes to investing and building wealth, maybe a legacy. If you have descendants or children you want to leave a legacy to, that's okay. I remember when I knew things, like in my head, I know things. I can teach you things about compounding interest, how to get out of debt, how to build wealth and invest. Like knowing it in your head is one thing, and it's a really good thing to do. But once it goes from your head to your heart, like when I knew that shift was 10 years ago, I knew I was going to become a millionaire. I wasn't yet, but I knew I was going to. It's just a matter of when. It wasn't if anymore. It was when.
Yeah.
And here we are. It happened. I just knew it. It was just an interesting moment to experience for myself.
Because you believed that it could happen.
Yes, it started with the belief. Correct. I believe that this is I'm doing the right things. I'm continuing this. And time goes by. And man, once you believed it and then like just knowing it, like full body knowing it, it's pretty fun. But yes, I did start with the belief.
And, you know, like we've obviously done a lot of Tony Robbins events together. What are some of the little things that you have put into play around, like when I now go into mindset, what's those mindset layers? Like what are some of the things that you've done, not even always on a daily basis, but on a continual basis that have kept you on track with your mindset around growing your wealth?
There's nothing like continuing to repeat it is a good thing, like with me and clients, but to myself, there's nothing on this planet that I want more than the feeling of being debt free. Because this RV is a great example. It's the first time I've taken money out of investments, and it was the largest cash purchase I've ever had at $60,000 US. And it didn't hurt. It didn't change my life. It didn't hurt, but I'm very glad that I didn't have someone in my life, maybe Elle or someone trying to convince me, or me not being strong enough in my boundaries to believe that I should have financed this and left that money invested. Because then if I had done that, sure, the market would have went up and I may have made, right? We can't predict the future. I may have made more money, but yet I was paying interest or monthly payments, or maybe I went to Japan for 5 months and I didn't want to continue to have an RV payment, right? Those are the things that give me peace.
Yes.
And that's what I'm looking for.
Different. You know, as you were saying before, with what is your ideal life look like?
Correct.
You know, it all comes down to the feeling. Like, what are we going to feel when we do that? And if you have that resistance, I find it's about taking away the emotional attachment to that feeling of debt. Even just in terms of being able to manage your money with, you know, having the right amount of money in your bank, or having that solid $3,000 as a buffer so that it takes the emotional attachment out of it.
It does, because it's a tool. Money is a tool.
Yes, because I had a lot of emotional stuff come up. I remember when we were working together, and it's not just around money and finances or mindset around wealth building. It's also around things that happen in the family, things that happen in your relationship that also cause big impacts.
Agreed.
There were so many.
Yeah, boundaries are huge. And I've had many conversations before I met Elle, and their beliefs of like my dates that I went on. If we got to on the conversation of money, you could quickly tell what someone's belief system is.
Yes.
And are they open to change? Are they open to learning? Or are they stuck? Have they been programmed so well that they believe that they're going to have car payments and student loans for the rest of their lives? I mean, I used to be that way until I was shown another way, or like the I've had it moment. Like I just don't want to do this anymore. And Elle, when I met her, she was open to learning something different because I did meet her. She had a car payment, she had credit cards, she had a mortgage on her apartment, all these things, but she was open to learning and trying something new. And that's the value system that I'm looking for. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to
grow,
do that thing that's going to potentially be different? Because if you don't like where you're at, doing the same thing is not going to change it. And I look for that in clients as well.
And just to be able to grow together, you know,
yes,
yeah. And, you know, you both come from totally different worlds. Like Elle's an Aussie, you're from America, very different belief systems, very different upbringings, very different, you know, like just value systems around money, I would say. But now have you both come together with a lot of alignment in working together, in doing things together?
Certainly, like in very different backgrounds. That couldn't be more true. And not only from the countries, but from the way that I was raised and the way she was raised. And it's very different. But one of the cool things that I really enjoyed early on with Elle was that she didn't talk to her parents. And it's not that at the time, right? We just hung out with her family in Bali a few months ago. But at the time, she had to set a boundary, and she was willing to go the hard way because it's hard not to talk to your parents. And the reason that I really loved that is because, well, I had left home at 16. I didn't talk to my parents for 3 years because at the time, that was my way of setting a boundary, even at 16. And the reason that I found that attractive, because I've told this story to many people, both men and women have like, oh, nah, I wouldn't enjoy that because their value system of family is so strong that they can't understand what Elle and how hard that is to not speak to family, to set a clear boundary. Because some people that love family so much, they value that so much, they'll put up with shit they shouldn't put up with.
Yeah, and it impacts the way that you think, the way that they, you know, just imply, especially when you're doing something that somebody else doesn't agree with.
Yep.
And like, I'm just such a firm believer of your belief is your belief, and I'd love to hear about it from everybody, and you take on what you feel resonates that's true to you. And you give it a go.
Yes. Let me finish why I also believe that that value was so important. Like I was so attracted to Elle not speaking to her parents at that time was because in the future, I never have to worry, is she going to choose daddy over me?
Oh.
And I knew, but now she has experience in our 10 years together. She knows I'm never choosing my mom over her.
Yeah.
Right. Because when you become an partnership, when now we're married, we are together. It is, I am first in my life, Elle is second, then I can deal with anyone else.
Yes.
That's the order of operations. That's my value system. And I saw that very early on with Elle as well. And here we are. It's working out. So you got to figure out, you got to be clear in your value system. Is that money related? Is that family related? Is that health related? There's so many things to have values on, and you just got to figure out what is most important to you. And I promise,
And
there's 8 billion people in the world. They're out there.
yeah, there's so many. And you know what your value systems are right now, it doesn't necessarily, like, it can chop and change as you're growing and moving, you know, because I remember when I first started Date with Destiny, I put knowledge as my number one value. It's what I love. And people, I think they made me more question, you know, like just starting to think about, should I have family first? Should I be doing it like this? You know, like over the past year, I've really come back to knowledge again, because, you know, that's my value system. And yes, family is still important, but it's still so much more important to me that it lifts me up, just having a value that I live by. I don't know.
Love
Yeah, that's another whole topic again. But so, like, when you think back in the money layer again, what does someone's relationship with money tell you about who they believe that they are?
Yeah, I think this is going to answer your question of, I always say, show me someone's bank account and I'll show you what they care about.
Yeah.
Because they're going to spend money on what they care about. Is that going out to eat? Is that clothes? Is that subscriptions? Amazon? There's so many things out there. Is it 3 car payments because it's you, your spouse, and your teenager? Right?
Yeah.
What do you care about is going to show up in your bank account.
And there's no right or wrong. That's just somebody's ideal life. At the moment, mine is traveling. You know, I'm spending probably the majority of my money going to the US.
Nice.
At the moment, the Australian dollar is really good to go to the US. I think it's been the best that it's been in a long time. I think it was like 82 cents to the dollar the other day.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty crazy.
Nice.
Not so good coming from US dollars back to Australian though. But yes, was there anything more that you wanted to add on that one?
No.
No. So like way back when we were starting things, the very first book that you said to me to read was Happy Pocket Full of Money. Honestly, it was probably one of my favorite books. I think I've listened to it. I haven't actually read it. I'm an audio listener. I like to listen to these things. And I used to put it on when I dropped the kids off at school. I'd have the school run, which was around about 8 minutes, I would say. Every single day, I made a decision that as soon as I dropped the kids off or when we were going to school, I would always have it on in the car. What do you love about Happy Pocket Full of Money? Why did you, when you think back, why did you recommend it to me and to probably so many other people?
Yes. I have coaches as well. As a coach, I have coaches, and I had a coach that recommended it to me, and it was great. It resonated. It's not financial based, right? There's not a lot of numbers in there. It's
That's
more
right.
of the psychology side of things and how, like, what resonates with you. And when you and I got started, I thought that would be a great read for you, because it's not focused on the numbers and do this and cut everything and ways to make more money. It's about the flow of money. That's what I was thinking of. Like, if you think of, you got 2 hands, you have a hand open for all the income, your blessings, or however money comes to you in one hand. But if you have one hand closed and you close it with that money, you're just start hoarding money, and that flow stops. Right. But if you have both hands open, meaning hand open to receive and your other hand open to give and to spend, then it creates that flow. So more is going to come to you, more is going to be spent, more is going to be given. And it's just a better way to manage the tool of money.
And there's so many things around the laws of the universe as well, with the whole flow of money. When you are open to it coming in and it's flowing around, I can't even remember what the actual law is. Do you know?
I don't know, but I thought what you were going to say was, opportunities continue. And I think by being open, not only in this sense of your hands and your money, being open to receive, being open to experiences, to try new things. And for me on my journey, man, I feel like I had no opportunities. I feel like I had no good luck when I got
Yeah.
started because all my money was going out to banks and payments and loans. And man, I just had no I had a closed off mindset. I could only deal with making enough money to feed myself and pay my bills. And then
Yes.
once I became debt free, I'm like, oh man, look at all these opportunities that were probably right in my face the whole time. I just couldn't see them. But there's just been so many opportunities that Elle and I continue to experience. And just because we're open to receiving, but also we're open with our money because we have no payments. We don't have to make $100,000 a year. Like we've
Yeah.
had multiple very cool multiple years where we only spent $20,000 for the both of us and just had epic lives.
Wow. And it is like every time I've gone back to the simple processes of learning to manage what you've already got, that's when I believe that you will get handed more, when you can handle what you've already got. And those steps that you have in, getting your finance savings account to $1,000 and then getting it to $3,000, you'll never get it to 3,000 until you can handle 1,000.
Correct.
Right. And you'll never get to 500,000 until you can learn the parts in between. It's like another level, another devil.
Nice.
Another level of growth as you're going through every one of those stages. What are we learning? What are we here to learn today? What's the lesson here?
Yeah.
What do I need to put into play? But what's the biggest mindset block that you see in women specifically when it comes to wealth? Is there a difference, have you noticed, between men and women in the way that they think about that?
Yeah, I don't think that there's a big difference. I think there can be a difference, but I don't think it's a big difference. And because one, I'm a man, but also a lot of my clients are women. And I would say
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I notice is trusting yourself, right? Like, do you believe, are you worthy of this? Do you think you can make more money? Uh, I don't know how to handle money, so I witnessed my dad always handled money. Or maybe you're a single parent and your ex was the one that handled everything, and you trusted them to do it, and they did a poor job. Or maybe they did a good job, and then they left, and now they didn't. You don't know what to do. There's so many things with that. I don't know, and I don't feel confident enough, and I don't trust myself is probably the biggest hurdle.
Yeah. Because, a lot of it is generational stories as well, isn't it? I've had conversations with my mum around money, and she's always been the one that has managed money in our family.
Okay.
She managed all of my dad's income. She's managed all of my brother's income, literally. But she never taught us about money, even though she managed everything. So it's been an interesting conversation, because a lot of the money the things that I've learned around money has all been from me actually making the decision to make the change, to go, I don't need to live on $440 a week anymore.
Yeah.
It's a big shift to be able to go from that, to definitely have that belief in yourself. And it's the little tiny bits of impact that you have, and who are you going to do it for? Why are you going to do it? It was taking the kids to Japan. It was one of my first goals.
Nice.
I created the vision board. What are we going to do when we get there? There's so many fantastic places to go. Like, are you going to go back for another 5 months?
Actually, we are. So we're gonna go do another winter season, and man, it's gonna be fun. I got to learn how to snowboard for the first time, and now it's just get even better.
So good. So do you remember back to when I first came to you? We'd kept in contact after Date with Destiny. where did you see that I was at back then?
Where did I see? Single mom, just disorganized with money. You had a
Yeah.
goal. I remember that you had a goal of making $5,000 a month, and then it wasn't very long like that you realized that you were actually already hitting that.
Yeah.
But it comes back to, oh, that was a goal because that was bigger than where you were when you first started, which is great. But I think it comes back to what you were saying of, if you don't manage that $3,000 a month or that $5,000 a month, then it's not going to feel like what you thought it was going to feel like.
Yeah.
So often clients are like, oh, I wish I made more money. But if you haven't managed or organized your life in a way to be able to handle whatever that amount of money is, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. And I always like telling people, like, I've had a client making $1 million a year file bankruptcy.
Wow. Just because
Like,
they have not managed their money.
they were disorganized that bad that they filed bankruptcy. $80,000 a month was coming into the account, but he was spending $100,000.
Wow.
Right. And it does, like, if you can't manage the little things, you're not going to be able to manage the big things.
100%. What do you feel that was my biggest shift in turning around over that time? I know for me it was following the system, but what else had you
Mm.
noticed?
I thought for you, I thought it was about belief,
Mm.
like being able to create more money or create different ways of making money, which I think you've done fantastic at since we've spoke, and managing it well. And maybe it is following that system, right? But managing what does come in well. And I mean, you've shared with me the difference of what's happened since we started coaching. It's not even the same. Like, could you imagine having the amount of money that you have now?
No, not even. Not back then. And there's so many single parents. uh, Australia is a very different economic country to America even, and there's so many people that are going through financial hardship over here right now. Like, rents are through the roof. When I moved into this place, was it 6 years, 7 years ago, I was paying $425 a week in rent. It's now 800.
Wow.
Wild. Like,
Yeah.
the Gold Coast is, like, I think, taking over Sydney nearly.
Wow.
Everybody wants to come here. But it's just having the encouragement to go, there is so many ways out there to make money. There's so many different things that you can do. And to be surrounded by people who inspire you, to have that belief that you can do it, to be cheering you on along the way. And you're just one of those people that have been able to implement the system to keep going. And it was just one little step at a time. That's what I felt like that I did. And you get momentum, get the belief in yourself. Oh, yep, this is working. Yep, keep going, keep following the signs. I like to talk about it like the Wizard of Oz. Like, we're just going on that journey to the Emerald City. And,
Yep.
you're one of those people that we meet along the way. Which one do you think you are?
Oh, I got no idea. You tell me.
There's the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Wizard. So many. We've all got parts of all of them, I think, definitely.
How do you see me?
How do I see you? I probably see you as the Tin Man, mostly because of your heart. Like, you are just the most heart-driven person, at all the events that I see. Or, he didn't have a heart as we're going through the story, but when he gets to the end, that's what he realized. So, the end goal is, who is Mike? Like, you are the one with the big heart that goes out there and shares all the love, the high fives, all of the magic that we have at all of these events. You are just that one person that does all of that. So I'm going to go with the Tin Man.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
So tell me about legacy. So you work with the whole idea of legacy. What does it mean to you?
So to me, Elle and I don't have children, but to
Yeah.
me, I want to create. I want to be that pebble in the pond, right? The ripples. So if I drop it in, me teaching you, then that ripple effect of now you can teach your kids, or you can teach those around you, in any future partners that you have.
Yeah.
That's my legacy. I want people, clients, everyone in my life, I want people to be able to do what they want to do when it comes to money, or what my knowledge that I have, without me.
Yes.
And so I go so far as to practice my death, right? Like in my mind, that may have jumped a little bit too far, but I practice my death in the sense of, okay, Elle, I'm dead. What are you going to do? Like, what accounts do we have? Who do you need to contact? What's the login information? How do
Yes.
you do this? And I mean, I practice it because that information is digitalized and it is online. How is she going to get into the computer? How is she going to get into that site? What passwords? Where's this? The reason I want her to be able to do that is because I don't want her stressed out in a case of when I pass before her. If I'm
Mm.
dead, I want her to grieve my loss, not be grieving of how she's going to pay for food next week, or
Yes.
where's this money going to come from, or how do I even, now this account's frozen, how do I get access to it? Right?
Mm.
Or it goes through probate and some lawyer wants to take advantage of her. No, I don't want any of that to happen. I want that thing to be smooth process for her, and then
Yeah.
she can just mourn the loss of me.
Yeah. And before I worked with you, I'd never heard of doing all of this kind of stuff. You know, sometimes we just don't know. And so
Yeah.
that was one thing that I started to implement as well, that I have not been 100% consistent with. Or it's one, you know, we've always just got to keep coming back and reviewing, and like, oh, there's a little aha moment of what we need to go back and review. But at the time, I went through everything, created folders, made sure that my mum could access things, like, here's where all my account details are. And I've got, you know, my little legacy box that I've got all of my files in. It's all there. I've got copies, I've got scans, I've got online. I'm half sorted.
Yeah. And then tell everyone involved, right? That's the big thing. Like, I believe everyone over 18 years old should have a will. Get a will. Oh, but Mike, I don't have any money. It doesn't matter. How do you want your social media content to be handled? Do you want it to be deleted? How do I get into your phone? What is your email? What's your passwords? How do you want to be buried? Right? Do you want to be cremated? Are you
That
going
was
into
a fun one, actually. I'm going to bring that one up because I do tell everybody this story, and I have told everybody this story. So I have a little box in here. It's a gold box with a Wonder Woman logo on it, and that's where my ashes are going to go, and I wrote it on my will.
Nice. Yeah. And then tell everyone involved, right?
I did.
My will does change, right? Every 2 or 4 years, Elle and I update our wills now. Well, first it was me as a single person, and then over time, as more money is, more wealth has been created. Oh, what do I want to do with this money? And then the next thing, but tell people involved. When I first got started, my will, everything was going to my parents. Like, I didn't have anything. I was early 20s. If I died unexpectedly, they would get everything, which wasn't much. But then it shifted to my sister, and I let both sides know. I let my mom and my dad know that they weren't going to get my money. My sister was going to get it. Then when it shifted from my sister to Elle, I let my sister know she was no longer get it. It's going to Elle now.
Yeah.
Right. So make that conversation happen. Upset people while they're alive.
Upset people while they're alive. Yeah.
Yes. Meaning, if you have family that you don't want in the will, tell them, right? Don't make it the responsibility of their sister to create the tension between them because of your money and your lack of boundaries by telling them they are in or not in the will. Don't put on the responsibility to someone else. I love pissing people off while they're alive. It's my money. I'm going to do what I want to anyway. But let's have
100%. Yes, 100%. So what would you love all of your clients to be able to say about their financial lives in 10 years' time? What would you love me to say in 10 years' time?
In 10 years, 100% debt free. Like I've even so much as paying your house off, right? If you have a mortgage, becoming debt free with that as well. And living your ideal life. You don't have to wait until 10 years to live your ideal life, but I want you to be debt free, and I want you to be living, or at least taking the steps towards your ideal life in 10 years.
And so if someone is listening right now and they've been putting off, they're sorting out their finances, what is the one thing that you want them to hear today?
I mean, make a decision to be debt free. If you happen to be debt free, congratulations.
Yeah.
Start living your ideal life. I mean, just decide this is what I'm going to do this year and just make it happen. If it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen in the future.
It'll happen.
Have to decide. You have to be clear on what you want.
Yes. And so if we flick it back to you, what's your personal 2 millimeter shift right now? What are you stepping into next?
I appreciate that. I've been reflecting on that myself because I feel like I've been adjusting in a sense of not needing more income because of what the life that we live, but also putting value on the knowledge that I have. So I've been focusing on Ideal Life and Money Academy that I've created, online courses, YouTube videos, podcasts as well. I've been focused on that, and I've been focusing on our experiences, like really taking full advantage of Japan, full advantage of the life that we live. We love summer, so we're trying to follow summer, even though we're going to Japan for winter. We love the sun, and it's not only experiences as a solo traveler or traveling with Elle. I want to have experiences with other people. So I'm trying to attach and meet those people to go on those journeys with us.
I love that. So tell us, where can people find you if they want to follow along?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Money Like Mike.
Yes.
And our Ideal Life and Money Academy on YouTube. That's the best resource because, man, we put out such good content, and YouTube's free, right? But if you want paid content, really dive deep, then you'll find all those links to sentinelcoaching.com/ILMA, and we have our courses on there to be able to budget and debt elimination course and our investing course, which we dive deep, very affordable. And man, I want you to win. So I look forward to seeing you inside those courses.
So good. Thank you, Mike. I so appreciate catching up. We've had the best time. And this conversation and conversations like this are exactly why I do things the way that I do, like this today. Doing podcasts, sharing them on YouTube so that everybody can make those little 2 millimeter shifts, right? Because there'll be somebody out there that really needs to hear this. So if you are ready to take your first 2 millimeter shift towards the financial life that you want, Mike's link, I'm going to put the link in the bio. My little 2 millimeter shift that I'm making right now is all around lifetime dreams. So I'll give myself a little bit of a plug in as well. And the whole philosophy around what I do is I decide, I believe, I shift, and I claim it. And so the Lifetime Dreams book is really just a collection of where you can put all of these lifetime dreams, and then you can go to Mike to help you finance them all, get you on track. So thank you, everyone. See you in the next episode.
See you guys.